Hi, friends. Thank you for joining me. My name is Osher, and you're listening to What's Not to Love, the podcast where I watch and rank romance movies. Each week here, we watch, we break down, we critique, and we review a romance movie of my liking, all in the hopes that after seeing as many movies as possible, I can accurately determine and confidently select which is the best. And after watching today's movie, nothing is taking the number one spot. I mean, yeah, yeah, I said this at the beginning of the last episode that I did, but the number one slot is currently The Notebook, and that is how it shall stay. But we are still talking about Rachel McAdams. So, I mean, it's definitely a contender. More of a contender than the last movie. I can say that much. More of a contender than Why Did I Get Married? Because whew, was that movie even remotely romantic? Like nothing. Nothing about it. Um Rehash like what's going on lately. I've been watching Smallville. I've been rewatching Smallville, and I feel like that's probably going to be how the intro is for a while now. It's I watched the show when I was younger, but I don't remember it because I was too young to remember it. So like I remember aspects of the show and always hearing somebody save me. Let your warm hands break right through, And oh my gosh, but now I'm watching it and I'm like, wow, this show was really good. Well, I mean, it's got an interesting like plot structure. I like the fact that I said this before, but I like the fact that it's one of those shows that like um it has a story laid out in front of it. Like something like this is you're watching everything unravel before you, but it is foretold. And that is really interesting because it's like you're invested in it and you want to see how things end up for these characters because there is like a conclusion at the end, but like what is it? We don't know. Well, I mean, like it's Superman, but like it's how he becomes Superman, and that's super interesting. Uh, it's also the fact that like he's um the like the way that they're introducing Clark Kent in his adolescent years is like before he was Superman, he was just a kid. He was just Clark, and Clark was a little weird and different. I'm like, Clark is Clark is 6'4" in high school, and they're like, he doesn't have many friends. In what world? Literally in what world? There was this part where they were like, he was like, I'm gonna go out for the football team, and everybody was like, you? And I'm like, he looks like a linebacker. What are we talking about? Please, everybody like needs to wake up and look at Tom Welling in this role. And it's so funny to me every time that I watch it because I'm actually in disbelief. But I am enjoying watching the show at least. So it's a fun watch. And it's going to be taking up a lot of my time lately. I think that life is better when you're binge watching a show. So that is what I'm going to try to keep going. It's nice to have like a go-to distraction. What else was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. Oh, so this is a part of like I'm doing like a 3 episode run so that way I can have some episodes to like start out with and like be comfortable with the fact that like I've got a ground settled um before I start like doing the show bi-weekly because I don't have that much time before I start doing this show bi-weekly, but it's also a learning process, so I feel like these episodes have gotten better and better as I've gone along. Like episode 3 is now wow. It's they're getting better. I'm trying to like keep my distance from the mic cuz I've been I've been listening to the other episodes and I am breathing so heavily in the mic. It's like it's borderline ASMR. It's like I'm sorry, but I'm trying to keep my distance, but I'm also trying not to be too loud because I'm not in like a studio space the way that I was before. Now I'm uh uh in my room. And it's just gonna have to be what it is. And we're gonna make do. So yeah, that's is there anything else that I wanted to talk about before? Because I keep getting these ideas. I'm like, oh, you should mention that, you should mention that, and then I forget it, and I'm like, I'll just mention it in the next episode. So if I remember something, I'm either gonna put it in a preface or I'm gonna say it in the next episode, or I'll forget. So okay, yeah, let's stop wasting time. You read from the title. You know what we're here to discuss. The movie that we are going to be reviewing today is the 2012 film The Vow. According to Lynette Bowman, which I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly, of Reader's Digest, The Vow is based off of the true story of Kim Carpenter and Cricket Pappas. It's the story about two married people played by Channing Tatum and Rachel McAdams, and they get into a tragic accident. Well, can you say the word tragic without someone having died? Because no one died, but they got into a really bad accident, and the girl loses her memory, and it's based off a true story, which I was rewatching the movie, and I was like, this feels like it could be real, like it has some element of realness to it. So when I looked it up, it was like, oh, true story, and then there's also like a little card at the end that I'm going to describe that it says it is based off a true story, but Bowman of Reader's Digest wrote, and I quote, "Newlyweds Kim and Cricket Carpenter, who the movie is based off of, had their lives turned upside down just 10 weeks after they said I do. They were driving their new Ford Escort and headed toward Phoenix to spend Thanksgiving with her family. They were chatting about the Cowboys, the university baseball team that Kim coached. With them was Milan Rasic, Kim's assistant coach. It was pitch dark at 6:30 p.m., and by then, Cricket had taken the wheel. Kim, who had a head cold, had gotten in the back seat of the car so he could lie down. 6 miles west of Gallup, New Mexico, on Interstate 40, a flatbed truck traveling ahead of them at about 30 miles per hour was obscured by exhaust smoke. And the rest of it, like, it kind of turns into an accident, and it mostly plays out pretty similar to the movie. But, the movie takes creative liberties, of course, with a lot of different things. But, like, the gist of it is similar to the movie. Um, and all that information was revealed in the book that the movie is based off of, or at least, I don't know. I actually don't know. No. I think it's the other way around. The story made the movie, but then the movie was like, let's make a book, which is dumb. But the book is called The Vow, the true story behind the movie. The movie description, according to Letterboxd, states, "Happy young married couple, Paige and Leo, are, well, happy." Then a car accident puts Paige into a life-threatening coma. Upon awakening, she has lost the previous 5 years of memories, including those of her beloved Leo, her wedding, a confusing relationship with her parents, or the ending of her relationship with her ex-fiancé. Despite these complications, Leo endeavors to win her heart again and rebuild their marriage. This is my first time reading that again. I don't like reading the Reddit, the letterbox descriptions until I start recording, because I feel like it's more interesting that way. And that's a good description. I feel like they're being a little wordy with these descriptions. The best description that I've actually had so far was the one that there was for People We Meet on Vacation, which was like, Poppy's a free spirit. Alex likes a plan. What's gonna happen next? And that was it. There was nothing else. Like, let's not give too much. This gives a lot though. It basically tells you everything that happens in the movie, and that is everything that happens in the movie. So the 104-minute romantic comedy, sorry, not comedy, romantic drama. It's a drama, guys, with a little bit of comedy in it, actually, I think. Rachel McAdams. It stars Rachel McAdams and Channing Tatum in the lead roles. McAdams, she's known for her roles in The Notebook, The Family Stone, The Time Traveler's Wife, Mean Girls. She is the romance movie girl, and she is Nicholas Sparks' favorite person. I thought that The Vow was also by Nicholas Sparks. It is not, but it gives off a Nicholas Sparks vibe to it. So she is in many movies by him. And then there's also Channing Tatum, who's the co-star in the movie. And Tatum is known for roles like Roofman most recently. Actually, I think something else. I think he's also about to be in Avengers Doomsday. But he was also in Roofman, which I actually really liked. I really enjoyed that movie. And honestly, it's partly a romance. I mean, we could talk about it on here if we wanted to. So he was in that, which is also based off a true story. He was also in 21 Jump Street, and he's known for the Magic Mike movie series. So the movie also stars Sam Neill, Scott Speedman, sorry, I can't read. Scott Speedman, Jessica Lange, Tatiana Maslany, and Lucas Bryant, and many more people. So additionally, it was written by Mark Silverstein, Abby Cohen, and Jason Katims, and directed by Michael Suxi. who also directed Every Day. That is the movie about a girl who wakes up in a different person's body every day. What a choice that movie was. I watched it a long time ago, but I think I also might talk about that movie on here and like give it a rewatch because it's a crazy concept and it's a crazy movie that didn't perform that well. So I'd like to see the difference between like The Vow and Every Day, or maybe the similarities even, and how did things go so wrong. Um, so, just as a reminder before we start, the movie is about our protagonists, Paige and Leo, a married couple who, after getting in a terrible car accident, has to grapple with the loss of Paige's memory. So, they get in an accident, Paige loses her memory, the movie happens. So, we might as well begin. Let's start. So, once again, the way that I do this is that I describe the movie scene by scene. If you don't like this part, you can skip. But then again, why are you listening? There's no point. It's 90% of the podcast. But I mean, if you want to, I'm giving you a warning because I know some people don't like the little play by play. If they're like, I know this movie, I just want to hear what you think. All right. So the movie starts with it's snowing outside, and Paige and Leo, who are our protagonists, played by Channing Tatum, and sorry, I'm saying it in the wrong order, played by Rachel McAdams and Channing Tatum. They get out of the theater one night because they went to see a show, and we don't know what they saw, but we're seeing them leave, and it's very desolate outside. It's dark, it's cold. There's pretty much no one there, and in the case that something does happen, it's like, how did anybody find you? So they leave, they get in the car, and Paige makes a come on onto Leo, and she's like, I have this theory that a girl is guaranteed to get pregnant if the child is conceived in a car. I don't know where she came up with this. But I don't know. That's how the movie decides to begin. And so they put the car in park, the couple. But while the car is in park, a plow comes right behind them and rams them. And the movie goes into slow motion. And as they're getting rammed by this plow, she is, what's the word? She's tossed from the passenger seat, Paige, and she's thrown onto the front of the car. Leo is still in the car, but both people are unconscious, and that is how the movie begins. Paige is on the hood of the car, and the title comes up, and it says "The Vow." It's incredibly depressing. So after that, narration is introduced into the movie, and that is also strange, I think, because the narration comes from Leo. So we know that Leo is pretty much the protagonist of the movie. I mean, it is the both of them, but because Leo is narrating, it's like we're seeing things, I guess, a little bit from his eyes. But it doesn't provide anything to the movie. It doesn't add to anything. It's not like, oh, so Leo is experiencing this. Like it's giving The Notebook and I like How I Met My Wife. Which maybe that's how the book was written or something. But if the book was written after the movie, then that doesn't make any sense. I don't get the choice of putting narration in this. I don't think it helps anything. So he starts narrating things, but it doesn't really matter what he says. So there's a flashback to Leo and Paige and how they first met. And Paige is wearing this horrendous wig. I think it's a wig, at least. I'm pretty sure it was a wig. The wig that they put on Rachel McAdams. It's this like, it looks like Scarlett Johansson in Salt. It's like that kind of wig, and she looks like she's in disguise. Like if I saw somebody wearing that, I'd be like, "You're undercover, aren't you?" And the first time that they meet is that they're at the DMV, and for some reason they decided to put Channing Tatum in a fedora. He was wearing a fedora and like a plaid shirt, and I'm like, okay, all right. So neither of them have style. Maybe that's how they hit it off. They meet at the DMV, and they pass each other again in slow motion, and they exchange glances. And this is their meet cute. This is how they first meet. So he runs after her when she walks outside of the DMV, and he goes, "Hey, you dropped your permit." And that's just something that he used as an excuse to talk to her. So they start talking with one another. They have a conversation. And here is where we learn that Paige is a student at the Art Institute, and Leo. Can you hear my stomach? Wow, my stomach is growling. I'm gonna have to eat at some point. It's like, girl, you should have ate before you recorded this. I know, but I wanted to do it. So where was I? Oh, he tells her that he drops her permit. She is a student. Oh, we learned that Paige is a student at the Art Institute. And we also learned that Leo wears clothes that he shouldn't wear because he looks crazy. They both look really crazy. Her haircut is crazy and his outfit is crazy, but I guess that's how they decide that they like each other. And this is when Leo decides, he's like, I'm gonna ask this girl out. He's like, what are you doing after this? Let's go get drinks. And she's like, Okay. So they leave right now. Like I guess she didn't have plans for the rest of the day. Paige walks off with Leo and they go out together for the first time. And there's a little montage of them spending time together. She also works at a coffee shop because she is the manic pixie dream girl in this movie. And she's wearing this like Scarlett Johansson wig. It's so frustrating just to look at it. It really it got under my skin as I was watching it. Uh, so the movie flashes to the future now, where it's after the accident, and Paige is in a coma. Leo, though, he is awake and he is fine, and he's walking around the hospital, and he's like going to go visit Paige, where she's got this tube in her mouth. She's still intubated. I know that because I watch Grey's Anatomy. Um, so then we go back to the past, and in a clip from the past, Leo asks Paige to move in. So like we're watching their relationship play out, even though the terrible thing in the future has happened. We're watching like the little bit the important parts of their relationships play out in front of us so we can understand how they got to where they are. So in the past, Leo asked Paige to move in by spelling it on pancakes with blueberries. On pancakes. On pancakes with blueberries. And this is where we also meet some of the people in their life. For some reason, everybody's in their apartment and they live in this like warehouse type millennial apartment that no one could live in. One, because that place should probably be condemned. Two, it looks so cool that like the rent is probably insane. It's either like it needs to be condemned or the rent is absurd. So it's one of the two things. And this is where we meet their friends. And at first when I saw this, I was like, he's in a band, right? Like that's Leo's band because they look like band members. And we also there's like a moment where we see his guitar and like him playing a guitar, I think. So it's like, okay, he makes music and those are his weird friends. They must be his band. No, those weren't. They're not his band. But the people, they're friends, they look like members of Panic at the Disco. Like there's I mean, I guess that's something that shows up later in the movie. One of them is like wearing a top hat. And I'm like, this is absolutely so 2015. I think this movie was 2015, right? No, 2012. Whatever. It's still 2012. It's very 2012 of itself. Um so after that is a wedding clip where we see the two get married, which I thought that part happened kind of fast. I was like, okay, we're moving quick. They definitely had room to add time to this movie, but you know what? I like my movies shorter. I think it's respectable. You say what you got to say and you get it done. Um, so they're getting married. The outfits in this scene were again a choice. She has this veil that looks like she picked it up out of a garbage can and then like stomped on it a few times and then put it on her head. It's like wrinkled, but it's also way too short. And then she's wearing this little pink dress that looks like a girl wore it to prom in 2012. I get that it's supposed to be cute and quirky, but Rachel McAdams and Channing Tatum do not give cute and quirky. You know who gives cute and quirky? Zoe Deschanel. Like, I don't. It's not that like this was bad casting for the movie, but the characters that they're playing, I feel like really just like aren't them. But we're gonna go with it. We're gonna keep going. Um, so they give their vows, and their vows are super sweet. They say things like,
I promise to never forget that this is a once in a lifetime love.
and at their wedding, I wrote his band because I was so confused, but his friends apparently they're the only people there. They don't have any family there. There's no one else. It's just the two of them. So we can now insinuate that they have a very small and private life. So they get married, and this is where the band looks like members of Panic at the Disco because one of them is wearing a top hat for some reason, like he's gonna pull a bunny rabbit out of it. The movie also takes place in Chicago. This is where we find that out because for some reason after they get married, they say their vows and it's like I do. Everybody runs off, like they run away. They're like, "Whoa, we're married!" And they run off. And they go to the bean, the Chicago bean, and they stand under the bean and they kiss Leo and Paige. Okay. I mean, like I'm not someone to like hate on a movie. I feel I am someone to hate on a movie. What am I talking about? I feel like I'm not somebody to hate without reason. But the bean felt like I don't know. Is it the most romantic place in the world? It's not the most romantic place in the world. But just like why the bean? They could have picked anywhere in the world. It's like if you want to pick that's the thing about writing. It's like you can write about anything. So you chose the Chicago bean. That's not the craziest thing. It's not even like the cutest thing either. Like, don't you want your romance movie to be like super sweet? I guess. Maybe it's supposed to show them being intimate or whatever. Uh, so then there's a montage of them and their cute little marriage afterwards. Um, and at this point in the movie, now we know how the movie is structured, which is really important. So the movie is structured by a couple of scenes in the past, at least in the beginning, and then closer towards the end, it's mostly just like things from the future and the present and what's going on now. Which I guess the future and the present is they're pretty much the same in this movie. It's just the past and then what comes after, which is the aftermath of the accident. So there's another scene where Channing Tatum is wearing a V-neck, and I stopped and I was like, "Stop giving him V-necks, please stop." It's actually no one needs to wear V-necks. V-necks are don't wear V-necks. We left V-necks in 2012. I don't want to see them again. I hope that that's one of those trends that never comes back. In the hospital afterwards, Paige wakes up and she asks Leo if anyone else was injured in the accident. And she asks him this because the doctor sort of walks away, which I thought was kind of awkward in the scene. But like after Paige wakes up, everybody's so glad that she's awake that the doctor's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go get you something. I'll be right back." She like feels good about it. But I'm like, "You're the doctor. Stick around. Look at her eyeball a little bit. Ask her to stick out her tongue. Do something." She kind of was just like, "All right, you get," and walked off. So Leo's the only one left there, and you hear that? And it's a helicopter. They're coming. They're coming to get me, y'all. Uh, So Leo's the only one left, and he's standing in front of Paige. And Paige is like, "Was anybody else hurt in the accident, doctor?" And Leo's like, "Girl, what? I am your husband." And she's like, "What?" And he's like, I am your husband. We are married." And Paige she kind of gets nervous and scared because she's confused. She doesn't know what's going on. And if I woke up and I found out that I was married, I would go with it. I'd be like, "All right, right on." Like, when do we leave? Go get my bag over there. You're like, matter of fact, let's get going. Where do we live? Like, same credit card, same Amex. Like let's just get this show on the road. If I'm already settled in, I might as well try it a little bit. You can always get divorced afterwards. I have been talking a lot about divorce lately, actually, because of why did I get married? I'm team like just get divorced. So this is yeah, that happens, and then Leo he has a little crash out after this because he's like, "Oh, she doesn't remember me," and there's again some narration, but it's so unnecessary because it's just him being like, "Love is crazy. Sometimes you just got to do things," and it's it doesn't move the plot along whatsoever. Uh, so afterwards, Leo, Paige and Leo, they go down to the cafeteria to get some food, and it's in the cafeteria that Paige learns that she's an artist because Leo tells her. So now Leo kind of has to spell out her life for her and inform her about everything that's happened because she doesn't remember anything, at least from what we know right now, is that she doesn't have any memory. Um, but then Paige reveals that she does remember pursuing law before Leo. So now we know Paige knows up to Leo. So like her memory is she knows that she was somebody who used to be a square. She used to uh probably not be as free as she is right now in the life that she has with Leo and probably used to talk to her parents and stuff like that. So she knows now that she misses her family, she misses her life because she doesn't recognize the one that she has with Leo now. So afterwards, Leo's friends try to comfort him, and this is a scene that doesn't have Paige in it, where they're just like walking down the street. And they even like, I don't know if the scene was walking down the street. I think they were in the hospital actually. And they even joked in this scene that like Paige won't remember Leo's antics, and they're like, "Oh, it's great, man. Like things are like, you should be grateful." And I say we get rid of that friend because this is such a serious moment. They really took Leo's emotions, I feel, for granted in this movie. I want to see more Leo crash out, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit later and like more as I go on. But I wanted to see him blow his lid at least a few times. I mean, we saw it maybe like once or twice, but I needed three at least. Uh, so afterwards, Leo comes to find Paige, and Paige's parents have have Paige's parents have moved her. They moved her to a different room in the hospital. And Leo goes up there to the room. It's like they're like, she's on the VIP floor. And I'm like, of a hospital? It's you're still in the hospital. Like if the VIP floor is you getting out, just get discharged. So Leo comes up and he goes to go find Paige. And it's when he finds Paige that he introduces himself to Paige's parents. And Paige is obviously rightfully confused. She's like, wait a minute. I thought we were married. Why are you introducing yourself to my parents? And now is where we as an audience learn that Paige is not in contact with her parents whatsoever. She doesn't talk to her family, and her family really misses her. And now that they have a chance to be back in her life, they're really going to use it. So Paige's parents also, like, they appear to be people who are very hard on. Paige's parents are played by Jessica Lange and Sam Neill, and her parents' names in this movie are Rita and Bill. So Rita Thornton and Bill Thornton, and Paige is, I guess, a Thornton in this movie. So in this scene, we also realize that Paige's parents want her to come home. They're like, we haven't seen you in forever. It'd be nice if you could just like come back, given this incident. But Leo is like, are you out of your mind? That's my wife. She's coming home with me. And they kind of have a little dispute about that. So afterwards, Leo and Paige go to the hospital. They're in the hospital. They go to the cafeteria. And it's in this scene that that Leo tells Paige that she isn't in contact with her parents and that they're very strict. And she remembers being engaged and being in law school, and that she also used to be with a guy named Jeremy. And as Leo, poor Leo, like the only thing that she remembers is her being with another man and living somewhere else and pursuing something that she doesn't pursue right now. So it's like she is not remotely what he recognizes and what he understands. She also doesn't like anything about herself in the way that she appears. She doesn't like her hair. She doesn't like her clothes. Her clothes in this movie are supposed to be a bit more free and like bohemian style, I guess. But it's really just like not that cute. And then her parents are clearly more like pressed and put together. But Leo, he's different because he wears fedoras and V-necks. So Paige now is leaving the hospital, and she's being persuaded by both sides. And it's her parents and her husband, Leo. So Paige is like, you know what? Why don't I just give it a shot? I'm gonna try living with Leo, and if I don't like it, I'll just come home, right? Which works. I think that makes sense. Like let's have her go live with her husband for a little bit, and if it comes back, then it comes back. Honestly, I am at a crossroads here. I think it would be entirely up to the person who this happened to, just because it's such a daunting experience, and like being in the shoes of somebody and you don't recognize anyone else. It's like just stay with the person who you recognize and that you know is a safe person. But if she wants to go be with her husband, like I'm all for it. I'm pro romance. So Channing Tatum so far has been, I think, I made a note about this. Channing Tatum so far has been very good at being a gentle person in this. Very good at being a gentle person in this movie. He's like, I don't know if I would have chosen him in a lineup of actors that I had to choose for this movie, but he gives off an element of being patient, and I guess like he feels very confident in the relationship that already exists, that he doesn't feel like he has to fight for her attention. That I thought was very, very well done in the character of Leo. And I don't know if that happened in real life, but I guess that's something that you really just have to swallow your pride and do. And while I really liked that and I thought that it was well done, I wanted to see more like Leo. I wanted to see more of Leo like being so frustrated that his wife doesn't remember him. Um, so Leo tells Paige because they need to recap the way that life is now. And there's a part where they're getting into the car where Leo tells Paige that Obama is president. Because she's like, who's the president? And he's like, Obama. And she's like, she replies and she goes,
The senator?
Yeah, you voted for him.
I did?
which I thought was pretty funny because it's one, like a little time capsule. Oh, Obama, we do miss you. But like two, the fact that she doesn't know anything about the world, and if we were to do that now, wow, how different would that be? Like if I woke up from a coma and I had memory loss and I found out that Trump was president, but I only remember back to like, I don't know, 2012, I'd be like, who's that? I would have no idea what you're talking about. And you'd probably have to show me like a scene from The Apprentice. I'd be like, never seen it, never heard of him. He talks funny, you know? Like I would have no idea what we're talking about. Um, so at home, Paige is now going home. She is overwhelmed because for some stupid idiot reason, Leo decides that he wants to throw a surprise party. And when she gets there, everybody's in her face. They go, surprise, we missed you, girl. It's so good to see you. I'm so glad you're okay. But she doesn't know anybody at the party. So the party ends early, and Leo ends up having to apologize to Paige because she just like she got overwhelmed. And I understand her in this moment. There's a few moments in this movie where like Paige, she got on my nerves just a little bit, but most of it, I feel like most of them, they did their best 90% of the time. Leo a few times let himself slip. Uh, so Paige is now getting to know herself a little bit. There's a moment where she looks in the mirror and she sees that she has a tattoo on the back of her neck, and then I won't like the neck transition to the back area, whatever that part is called. What is that, like a torso or something? Uh, your torso. Uh, there's also a part where Leo walks in naked on Paige, and it's supposed to be funny, but you have to put yourself into the moment. Like imagine how scary that would be, I think. I I didn't love that scene because like it was supposed to like add the comedic element, but I'm like, no, the comedy part was when you made that joke about Obama. That was funny. Yes. Let's do that again. Let's do more of like what do you remember about 2012? Yeah. I wanna see, like, some hysteria about the world ending and Paige being like, "Huh?" or something? I don't know. I let's see her in what was that? I wanna say Nick Cage. That wasn't Nick Cage, was it? Was Nick Cage in 2012? No, that's John Cusack, right? I confused the two of them so much. That was John Cusack. They give similar vibes though to me. Okay, sorry. Anyways, um, so in the kitchen, Paige walks in and she's wearing Leo's sweatshirt, and Leo is making breakfast the next morning because he feels really bad about the night before and the surprise party, which was really sweet. But it's important that she's wearing Leo's sweatshirt because she thought that it was hers and she thought that it was the only thing that she felt comfortable in. And he's like, that's funny because that's mine. And she's like, oh. um, but Leo also explains in this scene that he owns a recording studio. Um, and I made a note here that says not in that apartment he doesn't. That apartment is so interesting because the apartment is either that like he makes so much money or like this apartment is garbage. It's one of those, like I said, it's one of those millennial warehouse type places that looks like it just got redone. But I'm like, either you redid that from scratch and you've been working at this for a super long time, or like you just paid for that with your daddy's money. Either way, he doesn't have a recording studio. Not in this economy, he doesn't. Uh, so while he explains that he has a recording studio, Paige also makes an attempt to eat meat, and this is where we realize that Paige is a vegetarian. And when he leaves for the scene because he leaves the scene to go start his day. He kind of pats her on the back, which I thought was a nice touch also because it shows that like he doesn't really know how to treat her, but he knows that he needs to keep his distance and not like be as affectionate as he usually is. At Leo's studio, his recording studio, he gets upset that his coworker Lily had to get a band to play somewhere else because they were double booked, and it's because he's been busy with the thing that happened to his wife. And Lily is played by Tatiana Maslany. I thought that she was, when I looked at the scene for the first time, I thought that she was what's that girl's name? Odessa Odessa Zion or something. I thought that she was her. They have similar facial features. They don't look the exact same, but they have similar features. So I thought that, I don't know. That was just like a me thing. So he gets upset about the fact that like his job isn't doing that well, and I'm like, that's all you, boo. You chose to do this stupid job. Like that was 100% you. Um, At home, while Leo is at work, Paige finds a video of her wedding, and she also sees the vows that were she was doing to Leo. And I'm like, okay, okay, vows make their way back. Like, why is this movie called The Vow? I would like to think that it could also be called like, um, what's a good name? Uh, Remembering You. No, because there's a movie called Remember Me. I don't know, like Don't Let Me Go or something. I couldn't make these movies clearly because no one would watch these movies. But I feel like it could have gotten like a better, like mm, like a I'm tongue tied. Um, uh, what's the word? A pun, a pun, a pun. Yeah, it could have used like a punny title, I think. So Paige starts to walk around town to get to know herself a little bit, and as she walks around town, she gets lost. Leo is frantically looking for her though, that he ends up missing a gig. So he's doing awful at his job. He's like, if he was his own employee, he'd be fired. When Paige returns home, she is dressed more conservatively, and she explains that she's like, Leo, you're invited to dinner if you want to come to dinner. Also, I'm going home to be with my parents, at least for a minute. Like, so, like, why don't you just come with me? And Leo's like, I've been looking for you all day. Where have you been? And she's like, oh, I couldn't figure out how to work the phone and stuff like that. Um, but she calls her parents, which is one thing that I didn't like that she did. Because he's like, if something happens, call me. Also, why did you leave, girl? Your one thing that was that you just needed to stay at home. Like, sit. You got memory loss. Why is she acting like she has like tasks to do? Sit down. But Paige also asked Leo, before they go to the dinner, she's like, why don't you change your clothes? And he was wearing like a plaid shirt, which is 90% of what he wears in this movie. There's two things that he's got interchangeable in this movie. He wears a plaid shirt, or he wears a sweater, like a huge cardigan. And I say we don't wear either because they're both crazy outfits. I think we just need to put him in a t-shirt. The best outfit that he had on in the movie was like a Cubs sweatshirt, because they just needed to establish the fact that he was from Chicago, right? That's a Chicago thing, right? Chicago Cubs. Yeah, okay. I don't know baseball, all right? I thought that was a basketball team. Uh and he changes his outfit and he puts on this vest. It's a sweater vest. Oh, and I'm like, no more knit outfits. Take off the knit outfits. You need cotton only. Cotton, only cotton, okay? From this moment forward. So they get to the house and Leo and Paige pull up, and Paige's house is crazy. I don't care what happened in Paige's family that made her stop talking to her. It's just like, you need to go back home because their house is wild. It's like, it's a mansion, really. And it's at the top of a hill, too. It's like, you know how white people are like, oh, I'm not that rich. Like, I don't have that much money. I live a simple life. And you get to their house and it's crazy inside. I'm like, oh, you don't know what a simple life is. I can show you a simple life. Um, so when they're back at home, when Paige and Leo are at Paige's house, Paige sees her sister again for the first time. And her sister is played by Jessica McNamee, I think. McNamee or McName. I think it's McNamee because she's got two E's at the end. And she looks, this is beautiful casting because she looks smack like Rachel McAdams. This was a great choice. I love this choice, and I think we need to actually cast her again as Rachel McAdams' sister. I like casting that looks like it makes sense. Like, not just people that are great actresses or great actors. Um, but she sees her sister, and her sister's name is Gwen, and she learns that her sister Gwen, Paige's sister Gwen, is engaged. And everyone in the room is just so glad to have Paige back. But I made a note about this too, that the movie does not do a great job of making Leo seem I'm sorry. The movie does a great job of making Leo seem like he's the odd one out, because like everybody at the table is kind of like a little bit social, and he just sits there so quietly and really just bites his tongue, which again I think is really well done. I think he's very patient in this movie, but I don't want to see him patient. So the family gets to know Leo a little bit because they never got to know him, and Leo says that his parents are dead. Really sad, which nobody replies to. He says it in the movie, and he's like, "Yeah, my parents are dead," and everybody's like, all right. So what do you do? And then wait, he says what he does. He says what he does. And he's like, oh, I got a recording studio. And one of Paige's I think like her brother-in-law or something. He's like, "Well, that can't make much money." It would have been a fight breaking out at the table. Ah, like somebody should have started throwing some glasses because that is so rude. First of all, he says that his parents are dead. Nobody replies. Not even like "Oh, I'm sorry for your loss." Nothing. And then they're like, "You can't make much money either." Close your mouth. Say nothing more. And so the family is getting to know Leo a little bit, and they don't get him. They're acting like he's weird, but I'm like, this guy he just wears sweater vests. All right, he's not that crazy. You never seen a man in a sweater vest and a fedora. So later that night, Paige goes out with her family, where they pass a girl in. She goes out with like her sister and her brother-in-law, or like to be. And they pass a girl, and the girl's name is Diane Chain. And it's an important scene in the moment because as they pass this girl, Paige is like, "Hey, that's Diane." And Gwen, Paige's sister, is like, "Oh, we don't really talk anymore." And she really brushes it along. And it's a very quick and fast scene, but we act like it's nothing. But it's important, and we have to remember it. So I'm going to come back to that later. Paige introduces Leo to her high school friends and her ex Jeremy, which is a crazy thing again to happen. Like the fact that she has to introduce her husband to her ex people that like she no longer communicates with. Uh and he takes it like a champ. Leo is very polite here. Paige, even she drinks differently in this scene. She gets like a blue mojito, and Leo remarks, like he makes a remark after that, and he's like, "What, girl? Like that's not what you drink." And I'm like, "What would she drink otherwise? Like I guess the blue mojito sounds fun, but like, what is it? She's a beer girl or something? She only drinks from the keg. I don't know. Like, so Paige giggles with her friends, and Leo is just entirely confused. At work after this, the next day, Leo complains to his coworker Lily, saying that Paige was flirting with her ex-husband that night, and that it was a weird thing to see. And Lily suggests, she's like, "Hey Leo, why don't you just do something that Paige likes and try to like jog her memory a little bit?" So Leo is like, "You know what? There is one thing that she likes." And Lily's like, "What's that?" And he's like, "I'm gonna tickle her." That is so dumb. Gosh. He's like, "You know what I'm gonna do to my wife that doesn't remember me to jog her memory? I'm gonna tickle attack her." Don't do that. Oh my gosh. Like, it made me really want to like reach through the screen. So, anyways, Paige goes to visit her ex Jeremy at his job because she's like, "Let me go jog my memory. Let's figure out what happened in my life," which I don't think is that bad. But when she arrives at Jeremy's job, everybody at the job is so shocked to see her. And Jeremy says, he says that Paige has changed when he runs into her, and it caused her to break off their engagement. Also, I like to add that Jeremy is played by Scott Speedman. And Scott Speedman, hang on, he was known for a show called Felicity, apparently, but I know him from something else. And I'm like, what do I know him from? Oh, he was in Grey's Anatomy most recently. He plays hold on, let me Google it. Let me look it up on my handy dandy computer. Uh did I say Speederman again also? Because it's Speedman. Who did he play? Oh my gosh, just say it. He plays Dr. Nick Marsh in Grey's Anatomy. And he's supposed to be Meredith's love interest, but I honestly hate it because I don't want to see Meredith with anybody who's not Derek. Or hot take. I don't want to see Meredith with anybody who's not Derek or what's that guy's name? Crap, the one from New Zealand. What was his name? Man, now I gotta look it up again. I gotta I gotta what was his name? Jeez. He wasn't the guy who was from New Zealand. Riggs! Nathan Riggs. I think that Nathan Riggs was supposed to be with Meredith Grey. Hot take. I stand behind that though. I feel very strongly about that. That's an aside, but if anybody else feels the same, like you need to tell me now. You actually need to text me. Because I can talk about this for a while. I could make a whole episode about this. But anyways, Jeremy is played by Scott Speedman, and she goes to go visit Jeremy at his job, and everybody's so shocked to see Paige come in because like we're establishing that something happened in the past that we don't know because she has lost her memory. So we're building the pieces as she's building the pieces. And Jeremy explained that he's moved on and he's been with another girl. He's with a girl named Rose, and he moved on with Rose after Paige broke off their engagement. And she's like, "Why did I break off the engagement?" That's what Paige asks. And he's like, because you changed. You were a different person and you started dressing differently. And that's just, like, that's just how things go. You started dressing differently and you decided not to be with me. And I'm like, let's kill Jeremy. that was that was what I voted for the last movie when I watched Why Did I Get Married? But like if I don't like a man in a movie, I'm like, why don't we just get rid of him? Like just get rid of him. I don't like him. Also, in this scene is where we learn that it's been 5 years. I think we learned this a little bit early, but they make it really clear here. And I thought that it had been a longer time, but it's been 5 years since she's been in contact with her family and Jeremy and everything. So I'm like, Paige changed her life in 5 years. She got a tattoo. She married this guy. She moved somewhere different. She stopped going to law school. She's now an artist. And it's like, whoa, she like 5 years is crazy. That's a big turnaround. She must have gotten busy. Um, so at home, Leo is putting together the photos to jog, like all the photos that they have to jog Paige's memory of like, and he's putting it in chronological order. And this is when Paige kind of starts to break down a little bit. And Leo's like, you know what? Let me tickle her. And she jolts up and she's like, um, don't do that. So Leo, he has a little mini crash out where I thought that it was kind of funny, but it was really just like a weird scene. And, oh, did I put the wrong pause? Let's pause here. Um, so Leo tries to tickle her and she, she jolts. After she jolts is they decide that they want to go to the studio, to Paige's art studio, because Paige is like, you know what, I'm ready. Like, you're trying to evoke something out of me that isn't there, but let's go to the studio. Let's just see. They get to the studio, and at first it's kind of sweet, and she's getting to know all of the artwork that she has made, and Leo's like, let me try to get you in an artistic mood. And Leo is like, sit down, sit down, please stop trying things, because it is really embarrassing. She doesn't know if she really wants to like continue living like this, living with him. She kind of wants to go back home with her family. So there's a scene after this where Leo comes home and out of the bathroom in his own house, in his own apartment or whatever this place is, out of the bathroom walks Paige's father, Bill. And Bill. And Paige is like, hey, Leo, I'm going to go home and I'm going to go help with some wedding stuff for my sister Gwen. And Leo's like, are you sure you want to go home? And he kind of warns her about like being there. And here is where I was like, how much does Leo know? Because, I mean, I've seen this movie before, but I didn't really remember when I watched this. And I was like, does Leo know like what happened and why she broke off things with her family in the past? But we don't know this. And it's like, she doesn't really press, Paige doesn't press for more information. She's just like, okay, I'll heed your warning, but I'm going home anyways. So there's a scene after this in the doctor's office where Paige is like, she came to the doctor's office with her mother Rita, but her mother is kind of like, I don't know, she's being a mom in the doctor's office. So she's like, hey, Paige says, let me speak to the doctor by herself. So in the doctor's office, Paige reveals to the doctor that she's afraid that she might not like the life that she had before she lost her memory. And the doctor gives her some advice. And she's like, you know what? I did a psych rotation once, but you should open yourself up a little bit, I think. And I was like, you should not tell her that. You know what Paige needs after losing all of her memory? She needs a psychologist. She needs to talk to a therapist. She needs to sit in a room with padded walls and a couch and I don't know, like say her feelings and work all of this out. The fact that they sent Paige home and they were like, why don't you go be with the husband that you don't remember is insane. And then also the fact that like she might go home to a family that did her dirty in the past, but we don't know what it is. They're both like, it's just a double-edged sword. And it's like, admit her. Admit her for a little bit. That might help. She needs somebody to talk to. So now back at work, Leo's at work and he's talking to Lily. And Lily's like, I need your help. I need you to come do more here. But Leo's like, you know what? I got to make my wife fall in love with me. And I'm thinking, who else works in this studio? It's two people there. It's Lily and it's Leo. And either this is L&L recording studio and they're making bands, or I don't know, they're flat broke. Like there's no way that they're making any money here. Um and well, to be fair, they're not. That's like the whole plot of the movie is that they're making nothing. They're not doing great. I don't know what's keeping his rent. He needs to move somewhere else. Um So Leo then runs into Paige after this, and her hair is different. And the way that he runs into her is that there's like a sort of like wedding reception party thing. Uh, and when he I like the fact that like Leo is invited to everything though. I thought that that was nice. The family is annoying, but they don't shut him completely out of her life. It's like she was married, which I think that was an element of realism that I thought made sense. So Leo's like, when he runs into Paige, he goes, "Hey, why don't we try things again? Let's start over. Let's meet each other." And it's cute. It's a cute scene. I thought it was romantic. I thought it was nice. So after this, they decide to go on a date. And there's a cute line where she says that she needs to be back by 10 a.m.
That's fine. I just have to be back by 10 in the morning.
Oh my God.
What?
First date and you're already inviting yourself to stay the night?
What?
I don't know, I'm just a little scandalized. So.
Which was also something that was very entertaining, because they're just getting to know each other for the first time. On the date, there are montages of them stopping in like a little cafe at night for some reason, but that's Chicago, apparently in this movie. And they also sit in the car together where they're like enjoying time the way that they used to. Uh, I thought though, something that kind of got on my nerves is that even though Paige doesn't have her memory, they don't really give her a personality. Like, she kind of just goes at the whim of everything that Leo is telling her. And it's like, we still feel things in our people and have past judgment and we have interests. Like, I would have liked to see Paige be like, "Oh, I heard about this new movie that came out. Why don't we go see that?" Like, why doesn't like, she has a life. She is a person. She kind of doesn't get like time to know who she is. But you know what? I guess that kind of plays out later in the movie. So I might be wrong here. I really might be wrong here. But she rides along with everything, and it kind of got on my nerves here. So afterwards, on the date, they drive to go look at a lake, and Leo explains that usually something that they do is that they go night swimming, and he starts undressing in the seat, and like he's like, "We're gonna go swimming, like let's go." And she agrees, and they go out and they go for a swim in the lake at night, which I'm like, which Chicago lake is this? I don't know geography. I don't know what's the lake in Chicago. Is it Erie? What's the lake in Chicago? Hey, are they listening? Oh, it's Lake Michigan. Don't talk, guys. Don't talk. Don't say nothing. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. So they go. I guess they go for a swim in Lake Michigan. It's freezing cold outside though, so they're freezing and they get back in the car and they share a moment and they get back afterwards to Leo's house and they have a moment together where now they're like, this is the most romantic scene that they have together in the movie. But afterwards, Leo takes her home and he drops her off and he goes, "I love you." And Paige is like, slow your roll. This is date number one. Like he keeps jumping the gun. But he's also wearing a massive cardigan here. And I'm like, could we have put him in anything else? It's reminding me of Chris Evans in Knives Out. Too many cardigans, too many cardigans, too many sweaters. Put him in a regular outfit. Paige gets home, and when she gets home, she tells Gwen that she was out with Leo. And when she tells Gwen this, she's like, "I kind of like him." She's talking to her sister. And it's nice, but it's also confusing for her because she doesn't really understand what's going on. She doesn't recognize this guy, but she kind of likes him a little bit, even though she knows that they had a whole life together. So Leo is frustrated and his friends tell him to pipe down after this. And he's like, "You're going way too fast. They're walking down the street all together. And I have so many bones to pick with the fashion in this movie that like Leo is wearing this boho chic type millennial linen hobo outfit. It's the worst thing I've ever seen. It's really the worst thing I've ever seen. I don't mean to be rude, but who was the fashion coordinator, one, for this movie, and two, I don't want to see 2012 fashion trends come back again. I like a lot of fashion trends. I think a lot of them are good. Maybe this is just Channing Tatum being Channing Tatum and wearing like linens, and it's just No. Let's not wear that again, please. I really didn't like it. It's don't ever put Channing Tatum in a scarf. So, so Paige, I'm sorry, where was I? Oh, he's also wearing a side bag. He's got this like he's got this what are those things called? A messenger bag, and he's not even holding it on his shoulder. He's it's a crossbody. I'm not anti crossbody. I'm anti Channing Tatum wearing this outfit. So at home, Paige's parents tell her, they're like, you can go back to school if you want. Because remember, she used to do law school. Or did I say that? Well, she used to do law school. And they somehow got away for her to go back to school. And sorry. Money is guzzling out of Paige and Leo and their parents. Like, I don't know where all this money is coming from, but they must be rich. They really must be rich. And I don't want to see them complain about money. Um, so as time passes, one thing that I just want more of are the heartbreak scenes with Leo. I want to see a scene where Leo is sitting in the corner of his room, bawling his eyes out, and where he's not eating. Leo's losing weight. Leo's crashing out. Leo can't go to work. Leo can't drive. Leo can't go to the store. Leo can't hang out with his friends. The only thing that Leo has in his life is his wife, and he can't be with her because she doesn't remember him. And I think that's something that would make me walk in front of a semi. I think that should be discussed more or explored more in this movie. So now after this, when we don't see this, at the wedding, Paige's father, Bill, says that he wants to take things from here. When he's talking to Leo, he's like, I think. Oh, sorry, I thought I heard something. He's like, I've had enough of this. Let's just like she needs to come home. Um, and he clarifies that Paige doesn't have life insurance, or not life insurance, sorry, health insurance, which she has money clearly, and that because the father Bill was like, I don't know how she's paying for her medical bills, but I'm like, you're paying for her to go to law school, but also they're living in that place that looks like rent is insane. And also she was paying to go to like law school and then art school and then back to law school. So it's like, there's money. Let's stop acting like there is no money. But Bill asked Leo, Bill the father, he asked Leo, he's like, you should get a divorce from Paige. And Leo says that Bill should have tried to make amends with Paige. He's like, why didn't you be in her, like, why didn't you, like, we still don't know what happens, but Leo's like, why didn't you try with your daughter? So that way we wouldn't be in this situation. He leaves that scene with Bill. Leo leaves the scene with Bill. And then he runs into Jeremy. And Jeremy makes a little dig at Leo, and he calls him like the odd man out at the wedding for like sitting by himself. But I'm like, cut Leo some slack. Please leave Leo alone. He has nobody. He literally has nothing, and his job sucks. So Leo is really frustrated, and he's sitting on the couch by himself. And Jeremy's like, this would be a good time to make fun of this guy. So Leo and Jeremy have this little back and forth. And Leo then, after this, he hits Jeremy. Like, he punches him square in the face. And Jeremy falls like a brick. He goes down. Like, the way that what's that audio? That's like, and then I hit the ground. Boom. That's how Jeremy hits the ground. And Leo says that afterwards, he's like, you know what? He talks to Paige because Paige is very frustrated about this too. He's like, I'm gonna apologize to Gwen. But this is after they have this little back and forth, where Leo, he's like, you don't look at me, Paige, the way that you look at Jeremy. Because like, you used to look at me that way, but now you lost your memory and you don't remember anything. And who's Ryan? I wrote this note about Ryan. Oh, Ryan is Ryan is the other guy who's getting married. Ryan is the brother-in-law. I'm sorry. So Paige has a sister. Sister's name is Gwen. Gwen is getting married to Ryan. So that's where we are. Sorry. I wrote Ryan and then I was like, who's Ryan? So Leo says that he's going to apologize to Gwen and Ryan, and the two get emotional, Leo and Paige, about the fact that their relationship is coming to an end, even though they really just don't know each other. And Leo walks away. And Paige says that one day she hopes she can find someone who loves her, or she hopes that she can love the way that he loves her. And Leo replies, you figured it out once. You do it again. That's I love that. I thought that was a great line. I thought that was very well written. Um, so now Leo is depressed. He's sad and he like lamely plays the guitar in a little scene. But I'm like, Leo, go crazy. Leo, I want to see you. I want to see Leo on the news for what happened to him because that's reasonable. I think like that is so reasonable for him to lose his mind over what happened. Leo reminisces now with Lily, his coworker, about Paige. And this scene, like when I watch this scene, he sadly plays the guitar and then he turns to Lily and he starts describing what their relationship used to be like. And he talks about like he's like, "Oh, we once got soup and I remember meeting her." And if I was Lily in the scene, I'd been like, "I don't care." I talked to somebody else. Oh my gosh, don't you have a therapist? Does anybody in this movie have a therapist? Does anybody talk to anybody? Like they all just kind of wallow in their feelings. And I'm like, why is nobody I don't know. I want to see I want to see some crazy things. These are reasonable crash out moments, and I'm not seeing reasonable crash outs. It got under my skin more than like everything else in the movie. Uh so Leo decides now he's like, I'm gonna get a divorce because it just doesn't seem like anything is going the way it should, and it's what Paige's father Bill said that I need to do. So he gets the divorce, and now in the market, we're back to Paige's life. Paige is now living life the way that she used to live her life before Leo. And in the market, Paige runs into Diane. Remember Diane? Oh, this was from the beginning. Diane Chain. She runs into Diane in the market, and Diane goes up to her and she's like, I'm sorry, and I look, after your dad ended everything with me as soon as your mother found out. And Paige is like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Imagine if your friend came up to you and said,
Your dad ended it as soon as your mother confronted him about us. I just always wanted you to know that.
like, that is reason to hit her in the face. Obviously, Paige, she doesn't have her memory. So she, like, Diane expects her to know what happened because she doesn't know the fact that Paige has been in an accident that causes her to lose her memory. But Paige is upset. And so she goes home after this and she goes to her mother, Rita, and her mom is like tending to the weeds in the lawn. And her mom says, she's like, I tried to do everything for the family and like keep the family perfect. But Paige yells at this and she says that
He cheated on you with my friend. How could you stay with him?
and Rita says that she was going to leave, but she chose not to for the sake of the family. And I hate that narrative. I hate that narrative because they're like, we did it for the kids. Your husband cheated on you with your child's best friend. That is like low down, dirty level, low down, dirty level low. That's very, very low. I say we end it and I say that I say we get rid of him. We get rid of him next. Uh, so Paige says that she can't figure out who she is around her family, and she just like she doesn't understand her life when she's with Leo. She doesn't like doesn't understand her life when she's with her family. She kind of needs to like be herself. She needs to understand who she is. So after this, Leo's walking home and he's with another girl. And as he's walking home, well, first of all, we don't know who the girl is. That part doesn't come about. And I'm like, is he on a date? Is he on a date? One, how much time has passed? Two, why is he wearing that nasty cardigan? And three, who is the girl that he managed to find in this time period of his ex-wife having memory loss and having forgot him? And now he is already over it that he is now dating somebody new. It's like, you probably shouldn't be dating that person then because you're clearly not over it. Because as soon as he sees Paige, because Paige comes up in the scene and she's sitting on Leo's doorstep and he walks up and he's like, oh my gosh, Paige, hey, what's going on? And Leo reveals to Paige in this moment because Paige is confused about what happened with her family. But Leo reveals in this moment and he's like, I knew about your family drama. Like, I knew that your father had been with your best friend or something like that. I knew your father had been with your friend. But Leo says that he didn't want to drive a wedge between Paige and her family, and that's why he didn't tell her after we found out that she lost her memory. My thoughts on this? I thought it was sweet, actually. I thought it was sweet. I don't agree with it, but it makes sense because it's like, this is about you. It's not about me. You kind of have to figure this out. But it is Leo's job to have pressed her family to tell her the truth. Like, I would have, if I was Leo, they'd be getting chain mail over and over and over again. Like, I'm gonna really badger you until you do the thing that I told you to do. Send this to 20 people, or else tonight. You know that little chain mail that used to go around, where it's like, send it to 20 people, or else like tonight. I keep saying tonight. I don't know. Something's gonna happen tonight. That's crazy. I don't want to like put that into fruition though, so I didn't even say it. Where's some wood so I can knock on it? Is there any wood around me? Wood. Okay, we're good. All right, where was I? Okay, so she's on the doorstep, right. Leo says, they don't want to drive a wedge, right. Okay, so Paige goes on to live her life, after this, and she now starts hanging out with Jeremy again, and he's ended things with this other girl, Rose, is what we find out. But Paige is she's trying to pick up all the pieces of what happened, so she goes to hang out with Jeremy a little bit, because she's like, I remember Jeremy. And Jeremy's like, I'm not with Rose. And Paige is like, I didn't tell you to do that. Because now she started doing law school. She's in law school. But what we notice about what Paige is doing is that she's drawing in class. So it's like her life is starting to play out the way that it already ended up. Like now she's been living, she started living in the way that she is now, where it's like she is becoming more interested in art, and she is becoming less interested in being with Jeremy. Paige says that she needs things to work out in her life, and Jeremy kind of swallows his pride, and he's like, are you sure you don't remember breaking up with me for the first time? And Paige goes, why? And Jeremy says, because it sounded a hell of a lot like that. Oh, I like that writing. I thought that was nice, because it's like history repeats itself. Things are going to happen the way that they're supposed to happen. Things just like, it what goes around comes back around. So after this, Paige meets with her father, because it's like, now it's time to confront the man that has done the dirty. And her father, Bill. And Bill and Paige make up with each other. They're like, it's in the past. And Bill is like, I have tried to be a better person. But Paige is like, I do also need a bit of distance. I need to figure out who I am. You're a low down, dirty. I've been having trouble saying low down, dirty. You're a low down, dirty slime ball, grease ball. Like, get away from me. So then, out of nowhere, Leo starts narrating again. He comes out of nowhere, and he's like, and that's life. And I don't know why we brought him back into this narration thing, but it, once again, doesn't help anything. It drives nothing along. So after this, Paige begins painting more, and we keep seeing Paige painting, and now she's sculpting, and she's doing her arts thing, and Leo, he kind of spills himself into the career that he's doing, which I said, poor Leo, because Leo's career would be in shambles. If your ex-wife was in an accident that made you forget her and get divorced to her, and that made her forget you, and then you had to get a divorce, I'm not going back to work. I'm doing worse things, and you know what I'm talking about. So Paige turns into who she was before, and she ends up, while she's doing her arts thing, she finds a menu in her stuff, and on the menu is written their vows, and it kind of like, it doesn't bring the memories back, because the memories don't come back, but it's like, like, remember this? Remember him? So one night after this, they both head to a cafe, and they incidentally run into each other, Paige and Leo. They weren't intending to meet each other, but they incidentally run into each other. And Paige is like, hey, I'm back at the Art Institute, and I'm back in town. I'm back in Chicago. And Paige is like, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for accepting me and being there and being patient with me. And in the scene, it starts to snow a little bit. And they decide, they're like, hey, remember that Cuban place around the corner? Why don't we go there? Because we used to go there before all of this. And Paige explains that she started talking to her old friends, and she wants to know if Leo is single. Because, no, she doesn't have her memory back. But she does want to rekindle things with Leo, because life is now replaying. Like, life is playing out into the way that things should be. Then they change their mind and decide that they're going to go someplace new, which I thought was very sweet. That it's like, we used to do this thing, but you're not who you were before because of that, like, the accident. You're a little different now, but we're still gonna be together. And the movie ends. with them in the final scene, walking away into the street, into the distance. And I'm like, have you idiots not learned your lesson? The movie started with them in the middle of the street, parking the car, and then getting into an accident. So it's like, it was also a snowy night. Have you not learned? Get away from the snow. You guys need to move to Bermuda or something. Like, get on an island, be far, far away from this. This is just, it's not the move. And there, I guess like I see the history is repeating itself, but like you're asking for it now at this point. And the final scene in the movie, which isn't really a scene, but is it ends with a I don't know if you could hear that car pass by. There's a lot of cars passing by as I'm doing this. The movie ends with a card on the screen about the couple that the movie is based on, and where the couple they explain the couple, sorry, the woman they explain she never regains her memory, but they now have 2 kids and they're happily married. So I think it's like cute because it's like, oh, and Leo and Paige live happily ever after. I well, sorry, that's the end of the vow. That's how it concludes. Very nice movie. I I like it. Romance level much lower than um much lower than I had expected this movie to be the first time that I watched it. It is a romantic movie, but not in the sense that like it makes you like get butterflies and stuff like that. It's like, oh, this was very sweet that he was patient and stuff and like waited for her. Um Thoughts that I have. Okay. Too many sweaters, too many V-necks, too many awful fashion choices. I want to know who did the fashion in this movie because it was insane. It was insane. I don't want to see these outfits anywhere else. Um like I said, I wanted to see more of Leo going through emotional distress. I wanted to see Leo having a nervous breakdown. I wanted it to get bad for Leo because honestly, it should have. That's the way that it should go. It's such a distressing thing to have happened to you. I would not be able to function as a person if the one person that I had in my life was like, I don't remember you. I'd be admitted. I would be admitted. I think that that's something that's so heartbreaking and so jarring, and it was such an opportunity for this movie that I think was really missed because it is a comedy. Um, oh, I hope that was still recording. It kind of cut out for a minute. It is a comedy, but it's also like a drama at the same time. It is so much of a drama because what happens is very, very intense. I wanted to see more of what that was like. And it also should have been, I feel, from the perspective of Leo. Like it had the narration from him, but everything should have just been from Leo. That would have been an amazing movie. I think that would have been really nice. I would have enjoyed this. But I did enjoy it. I did enjoy a lot of aspects of the movie. I thought that Rachel McAdams was awesome. She's always awesome. I thought most of the casting was pretty great. Um, I don't know. Channing Tatum and Rachel McAdams though, they're very like hard-edged people, I feel. Um, it might have been the fashion choices in this movie, maybe. Like, this could have worked if they didn't try to make them seem boho, you know? Like, because that's just not who they are as people. And it feels like you're trying to rewire people who have been generally typecast. I think I worded that very properly. I feel satisfied with that. Um, yeah, okay. That was my thoughts on that. It is now time for Reddit for your thoughts. Hold on, let me see. Let's get some opinions from people who have seen this movie. Uh, Someone named Daniel on Film made a Reddit. What I gotta figure out what they're called. Comment. I got a conversation. I don't know. They said, Tatum was a miscast in a role that isn't that great to begin with. The Vow is a date movie, but the nudity is definitely skewed toward the female audience. That's fine. Let them have their fun. But for it to work as more of a date movie and less of a chick flick, throw me a bone here. Okay, that wasn't where I expected that review to go. There was like, okay, yeah, I think there was a little aspect of nudity in the movie that was weird that we didn't really need. I can agree with that. I halfway agree with the Channing Tatum miscasting thing, but like I said before, I don't think it was about him. I think it was about the characters that they were supposed to play and like the way that they were characterized. That, like, if they were not from Chicago per se, say that they were from like they're from San Francisco, and Channing Tatum is supposed to be I don't know, he's an ex-Marine, and uh Rachel McAdams, she's a librarian. Like, okay, maybe, because that seems like they could play those roles. Like, they could be those people. And they're not bad actors. Like, they did very well. I thought that Channing Tatum was excellent at being very quiet most of the movie. But there could have been somebody else who could have played it better. So I half agree. Um, let's see. There's another review, which is from somebody named Scott_McGregor. My main criticism of this film is the cast choice of Channing Tatum. He's trying his best at it, but it is just awful. Most of the film screen time is just for high gravity situations requiring an exceptionally high standard of acting talent, and Tatum just cannot get there. Instead, we're compensated by seeing him shirtless on no less than 6 occasions, most of them pointless, and as a straight male, this is no compensation at all. Sam Neill as Paige's father really needed more screen time, as he does bring the talent and deftness of touch demanded by the gravity of the scenes, and there's a wonderful, albeit short, role from Jessica Lange, which she carries off immensely well. Actually, I did really like Jessica Lange in this movie. That I can agree with. Yeah, she was pretty good. Let me see if there's another one on this movie. Okay, someone said from Setup Guy, I actually didn't hate the movie. I might even go on to say I liked it as well. Wow, look at you. It was it was tough watching McAdams' character, considering she was two completely different people before and after the accident. Although, however, that's not what that says. I don't know what I just read. I said although, however. That's not, guys, you know what this text says? It says overall though. I It says overall though. Overall though, a well done movie. I'd put it at a 6.5 or 7 out of 10. In the husband's shoes, I'd probably have thrown many more things in her face than Tatum did to try to bring her back to my side. Yes! Yes, 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 yes! Why was there not more crashing out? I wanted more. I wanted more of it. Okay, let me read one more. Da, 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 da. Oh, this one's interesting. This is in r/casual conversation, where someone said, I just watched the movie The Vow, and I was wondering whether the general consensus was about falling in love again with the same person. In the movie, I get that she loses her memories, but what if you had moved on from someone and still remembered what it was like being with them? Would you still allow yourself to fall in love with them ever again? It would be great if someone could share real life stories. Someone replied from Idiot Monkey 12. I will never fall in love with my ex. He's an ex for a reason. Facts. Someone say it louder for the people in the back. The Vow couple recently divorced. What? No. Wait. No way. Sorry, this is big. I'm Googling it. I hate to read the Google AI, but I'm going to read it really quickly. It says, because we don't like AI here. I don't like AI. I'm anti-AI, but I needed a quick answer, so I'm really sorry, guys. It says Kim and Cricket Carpenter, the real life couple whose story inspired the movie The Vow, divorced in 2018 after 25 years of marriage. Oh my gosh. Wait, they split up after Kim admitted to having an I can't read. Extramarital affair. She had an affair? No way. I want the sequel. I want the sequel. Wait, let me read the rest of this. Okay, so the rest of this person's review from Idiot Monkey 12 says, but if you know you're missing something, can't deny that. I just don't want that asset back in my life. Say what you feel. Say what you feel. This is a very interesting discussion, I feel. Wow, because it's such a hard thing to go through. This is going on way longer, also, this episode, than I intended. All these episodes are going on longer than I intended. I gotta figure out how to make this shorter. Okay, let's rank the movie. Then the last part of this, let's rank the movie. Let's figure out where it falls on the romantic scale of my romance movies. First of all, we gotta think about all the categories. Was it dramatic? Yes, it was dramatic. It gave the drama. I liked. Was there chemistry? Actually, I'm gonna say we lacked in the chemistry, and chemistry is a big department. I gotta put numbers next to these categories. I don't think there was actually that much chemistry. I think they were great actors, but I don't think that the chemistry was too strong between them. But then again, that might have just been like them. I don't know. No, the chemistry wasn't crazy. Humor, a little dead, a little dead. We need humor though. We do need humor because humor is something that adds to romance, I think. Were they attractive? Have you seen Rachel McAdams and Channing Tatum? Yes. Did you see the clothes that they put them in this movie? Yes. Were they attractive? No. Oh my gosh. Cliches in the movie. Yeah. No, there were a good amount of cliches in the movie. No, my favorite cliche, because a movie has to have some cliches for it to be romantic. I feel it just doesn't need to be like kitschy. Did they walk off into the distance at the end? Yes, that's a crazy cliche. That's an insane cliche. That's like the number one cliche, and it's one of my favorite cliches actually, because I think that it's so stupid that it's perfect every time I see it. I see it and I'm like, oh yeah, extra star immediately. And then lastly, did it have a large heaping dose of reality and unfairness? Because it's not romance without it. Yes, not enough though. It was lacking on some of the reality and the unfairness, I think, because like I said, I think there should have been maybe like some bad things happening with Leo. I was about to call him Joe. I already forgot his name. All right, so I'm gonna rank it. This movie was actually already on my list because I had seen it a while ago, but this was a rewatch. So it's not in the category of all-star lineup, which are the best of the best. It's not in the category of the writing the bench, which is the second best. It's not in my junior varsity category, which is actually no, I'm sorry. It is in my junior varsity category. It is in the third tier. There are also two more tiers after this, but it's in the third tier because it's low, but it's not great. It wasn't like because it wasn't heavily romantic is the problem. It was interesting. It was crazy at times, but it wasn't the most romantic thing I've ever seen. So it falls at number 77 on my list under Love Jones because I thought that it was less romantic than Love Jones. But it falls above Baggage Claim and Voicemails for Isabel because I thought that it was more romantic than both of those movies. I think that might ruffle some feathers, but this is my list and I didn't ask you. So that is the it. That's all of it. And that was The Vow. That concludes this discussion on the film. Thank you very much for listening if you have made it this far. And if you're still around, please join me next time as I watch Hello, My Name is Doris, a movie that I have never seen, but I wanted to see when it first came out. I remember seeing the trailer for it and being like, oh, I want to watch that because I love Sally Field. I love her and I need her in everything. I need her in every single movie, actually. And even if she's not in it, I want her on the crew. I need her behind the camera. Just put that on the tagline of the movie, Sally, filmed by Sally Field. And then I'm like, okay, I'm there. I'm watching. I'm sad. So yeah, I'm excited for that. In the meantime, you can find me on Instagram at WNTL Podcast, and that is W as in water, N as in never, T as in time, and L as in loser. And if there's a romance movie that you're just itching for me to watch, or if you're interested in joining me for an episode, just shoot me a DM. I don't bite, and I'm not famous. I'm just unfortunately obsessed with romance movies. Bye now.